So we have an important update for Hogwarts Legacy players right now, and even if you are still waiting until the 10th, you definitely want to go ahead and note this stuff down as it is very important. So first of all, beware, do not open chests when your gear slots are full, and I will explain why in a moment. You also need to turn down something literally all the way down because your gameplay will change dramatically, as in day and night difference. You also want to sell the equipment that you get ASAP, and if you accidentally skip the part where you are meant to link the account like I did, don't panic, you are not doomed, there is a way to redeem yourself. And finally, just pay attention as you might see something like this. Now, thanks to RayQ for sharing this, because I've now just been wondering about waiting to catch this in action, so we've got lots to get through, so let's just dive into this. Now, massive thank you to Zbat, I hope that's how you pronounce it, for making everyone aware of this. So what it says is, PSA, controller players, turn camera acceleration all the way down and camera sensitivity up. I can't tell you how much smoother the game feels after you do this. It's like night and day. Now, I've personally tried this since I saw that post, and they were not wrong at all. Now, apparently most people can do this in pretty much every single game. I personally have never actually done it until this game, but I honestly cannot turn back now. So go ahead and give it a shot, because they were not joking when they said a day and night difference. Now, beware, do not open chests when your gear slots are full. Now, worth mentioning, I've only had this happen once, but some are experiencing this pretty much all the time, and people that are ahead of me, of course, in this game as well, so really important to note this down. So, a user said the following: I may be wrong, but this has happened a couple of times to me. If you open a chest when your gear slots are full, you will not see what is in the chest or be able to receive the item, but it seems the game generates the item and locks it in the chest at whatever level is appropriate to you at the time. Having discovered you seem to get nothing for trashing gear, and also that selling gear appears to be the best source for money, I've been holding on to old gear. A few times I've opened chests only to discover that my gear slots are actually full. Now, when going back to open the same chest later with now clear gear slots, I found gear to be way under level and basically just useless. For example, I originally opened the chest while at level 8, I then came back a few hours later, now at level 16, and reopened the same chest, but the gear drops at level 8. Now, that's a lot of words to describe something simple, but I wanted to be clear about what I think I'm seeing happen. The reason I want to warn you all of this is because getting relevant gear from chest is the most economical way of actually getting your defense up alongside your offense. Now, chests are RNG weighted to give you a better gear. Now, you should always be wearing the best gear you have to force those chests to actually just go ahead and drop you higher stats gears. Now, if one of your gear slots is falling behind the others, for instance, because let's just say you are getting bad RNG on a particular slot, for example headwear, it will actually hold you back on getting better stats on the other gear. Now, apparently this is actually similar to Destiny 2. I personally have not played a whole lot of that game, but if you have, then it probably will make sense. If this does happen, you should basically just fast travel to Hogsmeade and then sell all of your old gear, buy something from Gladrag's Wizard Wear to bring your low stat gear basically up into line with the other slots. slots. Now, hopefully that does help a lot of you. Big shout out to the person for making people aware of that. So again, if you are actually seeing that effect as a whole and you are really focusing, of course, on leveling up your offense and your defense and wondering what on earth is going on, this is basically what is going on in a nutshell. So just make sure you do that accordingly. Now, someone also added to this not to ever let your inventory get full, and that you should actually do the Merlin trials to have more space to carry items and then sell everything that you aren't using, because again, you can actually transmog everything anyway. Now, this is definitely worth noting down, as I say, because you don't want to go ahead and make that mistake. Now, just an FYI, you can link your WB account after skipping, something I did and something I knew was possible, but I panicked, which made finding it, let's just say, not as easy as it was. So just head on to your settings, click the user interface options, and it should be there. Now, someone has been kind enough to give some tips for starters that will actually come in very handy. It kind of links the first one, at least anyway, to what I just mentioned about how you should, of course, sell your equipment ASAP, because remember, you need a lot of money in this game to buy certain things. Like, for example, I ended up pretty much selling almost everything I had to actually just get a broom, and all the brooms were the same price. And that's the crazy part, right? It's just I didn't have 600 coins. But again, if I had known this earlier, I definitely would have not been just basically getting rid of almost everything I had, or purchasing other things that technically weren't as necessary, so to say, than me getting the broom, which is of course what I really wanted to unlock and purchase at that moment in time. Then you got Revello 2, which is if you use Revello and you hear a cling, that does mean there is a POI in the surrounding area where you can basically reveal a page site. Now, number 4 is locks. If you ignore the locked doors and locked chests for now, you will have to wait a long time until you learn to open them. Don't avoid them. It's basically that in a nutshell. Now, plants and potions are your friends. Use potions and plants because, believe me, it makes your life a lot easier, especially when you fight multiple enemies, because the game wants you to make use of all of that stuff, and they are really making it actually make a difference. So really important to take into account, because it's easy to just kind of overlook that, and I definitely did in my first couple of hours for sure. Now, same thing with healing potions as well. Always bring a lot of healing potions. Don't enter a longer main quest dungeon without enough healing potions, and apparently most people are saying that 10 is a good number. I guess it kind of comes down to the type of player you are. Now, small owl statues. If you come across an owl holding a blue stone, always make a note where that was, and apparently we'll thank him later. I'm still yet to actually figure that out and even come across it. To be fair, I've not actively been seeking for it, but since seeing this, I definitely will be from now on. Now, teachers and their backstories, always check out whether you can actually talk to your teachers after they taught you a new spell, because sometimes you can get some extra nice bit of conversation and background just to really about the story as a whole, which you can easily miss. Now, the cube riddles, it says the cube riddles inside Hogwarts. Don't bother to do them until you find a document inside of Hogwarts telling you what the symbols stand for, and you can find that page early. Just explore Hogwarts. Now, Transmog 1, because some are missed, and again, a lot of people found this in the first few hours to just miss it, you can change the appearance of every equipment slot. You just hover over it, hit square, or it should be X, I believe, on Xbox. Now, Transmog 2, don't worry about selling visually good looking gear. It is unlocked as a permanent transmog after finding it. So again, don't freak out too much, especially if you want to buy a certain item, but this game is really delivering. I initially was going down the evil route in this game. I'm a Slytherin in this game, by the way, just in case you didn't already know by the gameplay, but for the most part, I've been trying to go full evil mode, but you kind of just want to be a good wizard as well. But good or bad, which are you being? There are 4 horrible things what you can do in this game, and I've listed them, so check out that video that you see on screen right now.